It began to grow dark. He went out into the kitchen to the girl. But though he rubbed his eyes and did everything he could to keep himself awake, it was all in vain, for the Bushy bride crooned and sang till his eyes were fast closed, and when the beautiful young maiden came, he was sound asleep and snoring. This time also, as before, she borrowed a brush and brushed her hair with it, and the gold dropped down as she did it, and again she sent the dog out 3 times. And when day dawned, she departed. But as she was going, she said as she had said before, "I shall come once more, and then never again." On the 3rd night the king once more insisted on keeping watch. Then he set 2 men to hold him. Each of them was to take an arm, and shake him and jerk him by the arm whenever he seemed to be falling asleep. And he set 2 men to watch his Bushy bride. But as the night wore on, the Bushy bride again began to sing and croon, so that his eyes began to close and his head to droop to one side. Then came the lovely maiden, and got the brush and brushed her hair till the gold dropped from it, and then she sent her little Snow out to see if it would soon be day, and this she did 3 times. The 3rd time it was just beginning to grow light, and then she said, "Out on thee, ugly Bushy bride, sleeping so soft by the young king's side. On sand and stones my bed I make, and my brother sleeps with the cold snake, unpitied and unwept." "Now I shall never come again," she said, and then she turned to go. But the 2 men who were holding the king by the arm seized his hands and forced a knife into his grasp, and then made him cut her little finger just enough to make it bleed. Thus the true bride was freed. Then the king awoke, and she told him all that had taken place, and how her stepmother and stepsister had betrayed her. Then the brother was at once taken up out of the snake pit. The snakes had never touched him, and the stepmother and stepsister were flung down into it instead of him. No one can tell how delighted the king was to get rid of that hideous Bushy bride, and get a queen who was bright and beautiful as day itself. And now the real wedding was held, and held in such a way that it was heard of and spoken about all over 7 kingdoms. The king and his bride drove to church, and little Snow was in the carriage too. When the blessing was given they went home again, and after that I saw no more of them. End of chapter 32 of The Bushy Bride. Recording by Wendelin, January 26th, 2009.